Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Live with RYE. I'm your host, RYE, and I am so thrilled you are joining me today. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for your continued love and support throughout this venture of me with Live with RYE, as well as for everything I'm doing with my platform, RYEthenewsGuy.com. It means so much to me, and I truly cannot thank you enough. Before we begin, though, I do have a favor to ask of you. If you're joining us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my YouTube channel below so you never miss an episode of Live with RYE. And you're also helping the channel out as well. And if you're joining us on Facebook, hit that thumbs up and like this video, give it a heart, and like our Facebook page as well while you're at it. Be sure to also follow me across social media at RYE the News Guy. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I love hearing from you, so let's continue the conversation. Again, at RYE the News Guy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And finally, you'll see my website scrolling across the bottom of the screen, RYEthenewsGuy.com. Head over there to rewatch all episodes of Live with RYE and to see all of my other exclusive content, including the launch of my new production company, RYE Entertainment. You'll also see my Venmo handle scrolling across the bottom of the screen as well. If you are so inclined, I would love if you would consider supporting the show Live with RYE, as well as my platform, RYEthenewsGuy.com. It means so much to me, and I truly cannot thank you enough. And with that, let's get started with today's show. Please help me welcome my very special guest, actress Carol Angeli. Hi, Carol.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Did I get the last name right?
You did, Angeli.
Okay. I wanted to make sure. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm pretty good.
Good. As I was saying earlier, I love this background that you have, your Christmas tree, your stocking.
Thank you.
It's so festive. It's
my ombre tree. I've never had an ombre tree before, but I kind of feel like 2020 is like, kind of dark. And then hopefully 2021 will bring it to light. I don't know.
That's so cool. I was wondering why it was darker on the bottom, and that makes sense. I really like that a lot.
It's like my soul.
You're right. Yeah, all of ours in 2020.
Yeah.
So you have had a really great career. You're a performer. You're also a mother. And one of the things I'd love to talk about is, obviously right now, unfortunately, we're not performing due to COVID. But when you're performing, how do you balance motherhood and performing? And what advice would you give to mothers with young children and in the performing industry, and also expecting parents as mothers in the performing industry as well?
You know what? I think that balancing it is kind of difficult. I mean, I really only had 1 year of really balancing it before COVID really happened. But the auditions, just make sure you get a trusted sitter or one of your friends to help you out, or your parent or whoever, your spouse, to help you out, because, it's still your dream and you're allowed to still live that dream. And I feel like you can pick and choose auditions. I know I did. There were certain auditions I was like, well, I don't know if it's worth it at this moment to leave for, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I feel like you have to give yourself the grace to still live your dream while you're also, having another, human to take care of. And I think that it's just important. It's important for you. And it's important for them to see you happy, which is what I think. I only did one show. Oh, no, I guess I did two, where I was away from London, my son, for a while. And that was really hard. It was really hard to be away from London. But in the end, it filled my cup. So I was able to fill his more, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, just for the mommies out there who've given birth, or, just make sure that you forgive yourself and your body for all the changes that are going to happen, because it's really taken me 2 years. My son is 2 now, and it's really taken me 2 years to start forgiving my body and myself. And, that's very important.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I wouldn't know, but I didn't know that was something that you could think and feel. And so I think that's a very important message, to forgive yourself and your body. That's,
just know your body did a lot for you. And these are words my friends drilled into me, because it's really hard for me as a performer and as a dancer who now does not have the same body that she did before. And forgiving your body and loving your body and thanking your body for doing what it did and growing a human. Not every body bounces back.
Yeah.
as quickly. And sometimes circumstances don't let you do as much as other mothers and other people. And, you just have to say thank you. I respect you. I will help nurture you. And then hopefully I will forgive myself for not liking you for a minute because it's a different thing. But I love you.
I love that. What such great advice. And for any of the mommies listening out there, what a great advice. Now, how are you holding up during the pandemic? Have you taken up any new hobbies? Have you discovered anything about yourself, both as a person or a performer, that you didn't know prior?
Oh my gosh, so many discoveries. We won't even go into it. But one big discovery was that I am a lot stronger mentally than I thought I was before COVID. And I went back to school. So I am working on getting my bachelor's in science degree in nursing so that if this ever happens again, or, because you never know, you just don't know.
Right. Exactly.
My son and I are covered. And so I can build a life for us, even during a pandemic, whatever it is, and also help the people who've dealt with COVID because, whatever disease comes next, whenever that is, maybe I can be there to help next time.
I love that. And what a great thing to do. Hopefully it won't be in our lifetime,
I know.
But I love that you do that. And, maybe it's maybe you'll be able to still do that and balance performing at the same time. Having that, even that certification is something special too, so.
Yeah, just something. And, and I enjoy taking care of, I've discovered through my son, like I really enjoy taking care of people. And this would be a good way to do that. And also, I mean, it's a lot though, like school.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I graduated and I was like, that was a lot. But this anatomy and physiology is a lot.
Yeah. I can imagine. My sister's in school for nursing. She's actually in her final year, and
you're so lucky.
I have heard the horror stories. And when I was in school too, I had a lot of friends who were in nursing, and I was like, no way. I did enough. I did my, thank God I did communications.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's hard in itself, but this was just for my brain too.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not used to, I look at these diagrams. I'm like, oh, that's what I pulled last year. Oh, great. You know what I mean? That's what I think about. I don't think like a science brain really, but
I love that. So tell me about this new photo shoot you did for, it's called the New Hollywood Photo Shoot that you did for HAPA Mag. I thought it was really cool. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So one of my best friends, Alex Chester, hi, she's in Mexico right now, but she is the editor-in-chief of HAPA Mag, which is a publication that caters, to everyone, but really mostly to the mixed community, the mixed Asian community. And they did a photo shoot, and it was super fun to get to portray, like a 40s starlet vibe, and just showing that any culture, Asian, mixed, whatever it is, all the races can and should be portrayed in different types of movies. And, like we really are a timeless people because, everyone is everything. So especially the Asian community, like that should be something that's seen more often than it is or than it has been. And yeah, so it was a really cool photo shoot and a really cool concept. And I really enjoyed doing that.
And the photos were great. I mean, you talk about it really sort of went back in time at the golden age of Hollywood, the way that the photos were done.
Yeah, they were gorgeous. They were gorgeous.
They were. It was awesome. I love that. And it's so special that you got to be a part of that and that they did that. I think it's important for sure. Sort of talking on that same topic, how can we continue the theater industry and the entertainment industry at large continue representation and diversity in casting, in shows, in creatives, for the BIPOC community, but especially, the Asian American performers as well?
Yeah, I feel like, it's not just our responsibility to go to the auditions, because that's one thing that I feel like, even for me, for a long time, I was like, well, I can't go to that. There's only like one Asian track and it's already filled. You know what I mean? I feel like we need to go to more of those. And I also feel like the creatives, they shouldn't shy away from talent based on talent and not talent based on, oh, she's not the that the girl that we were picturing in our heads because she's Asian or she's half Asian or she's Black or she's, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, just give a chance to talent because there's so much more out there, and try to take the mask, away, I guess, or try to, yeah. And I feel like now we should give a chance to all of those Asian American writers and directors and producers and have us more behind the table. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I think so.
Yeah, I totally agree. And hopefully, from COVID, because I've said this a lot, the positive thing from COVID, I think you'll see a lot of more emerging artists, creatives who have taken this time to write and create. And I do hope that a majority of them are BIPOC and Asian community members, because there's so many important stories that need to be told, and they need to be told by the proper and respected communities.
Yeah, I think so too. I completely agree.
Yeah. I love that. So, of course, Broadway may not be running, but I do love Broadway Scoop and talking about Broadway. So you have to tell me, you were in Miss Saigon, the recent revival that happened.
I was.
What was that experience like? I mean, I didn't get a chance to see that, unfortunately. It's funny, we were talking about school earlier. I was in school when that was on, and I never got the chance to run and see it. But what was the experience like for you?
So it was Miss Saigon. Going back to the history of my career, I guess, Miss Saigon was a show that meant so much to me, is a show that means so much to me. It was my first show out of school. I did 6 different Miss Saigons, including Broadway. So it's just I just love it so much. And most of the people that are in my life who are my best friends and, came from all those iterations of Saigon that I've done. And it was a different experience because it was Broadway, It was a lot. It was huge for me. And I enjoyed so much just being a swing and playing all the roles. I love that it was just unexpected. Every day I would come in and be like, oh, okay, I'm on for this person. And it was crazy. And I was so honored to be part of the company. And I was so honored that I got to be on Broadway. And when I went on for Gigi the first time, that was incredible. Like, I never thought that I'd be singing. I remember the lights, and I remember my friend Sam, hi Sam, who was watching, and he stood up for me at curtain call, and I just remember being like, that just happened. It was kind of a blur, but kind of like,
yeah,
like, I can't believe I'm here. After all these Saigons, I'm here. Like, this is
you made it.
An opportunity.
And at the Broadway Theater, no less. I mean, one of the sort of bigger houses, on Broadway. So that's special too.
It was a sight to see when you're out there. And when the spotlight's on you and the lights are hitting you, you can't see everything, but I could see how vast the theater was to me. And kind of like how your life flashes before your eyes before you die. It was kind of like my whole career was just this movie in my mind, literally, seeing the song. And I could get really choked up about it because that day in particular just meant so much to me. That first day.
And was that your Broadway debut?
It was. Yeah.
Wow.
The first show I did, I had to be ping pong. And if you know Saigon, there's a girl that in the Bangkok sequence, a ping pong ball comes out when she does a split in the air upside down. So that was my debut. And now I can say, like, that was my Broadway debut. I was ping pong girl for my first show. So that's kind of funny.
That is incredible that you got to do that. What, for those of us who don't know, you said you were a swing. What does that entail, being a swing?
So a swing covers the ensemble. You understudy the whole ensemble. So if someone's sick, you get to do their tracks. If someone is an understudy to a principal, then they get to watch a show and then you get to go on for them. So you really cover everybody. And it's great because you get to know the ins and outs of the show. Like you know more than anyone except the director and the stage managers, who are amazing, by the way, in that show. Right. And yeah, it could be a very thankless job, but then once you do what you do best, which is go on for someone on the fly, or maybe like 15 minutes before the show, they're like, "Oh, you're on for this person," then it's very rewarding. very rewarding.
I'm very rewarding indeed. I'm sure also for you probably very stressful because you have to know and remember all of those lines and tracks and
You know what? I feel like I live for that stress. And after you go on the first time, it's not really stressful. If you have like 2 or 3 tracks that you're going on at the same time, because that happens, that's a little stressful, but it's also super fun. And I feel like I light up in my soul whenever that happens because I'm like, I can do this. We're doing this. It's like a battle to be won, like, but you have to win because then you die and you don't want that. So it's so fun.
That's why you're the performer and I'm not, because that just scares the crap out of me.
It was scary. The first time I had to go on as a swing, I was in college and I was swinging a show, and I had to go on for someone who broke their leg, and I didn't know the track because I wasn't her cover. And thankfully I had this swing Bible, which, had the diagrams and all the everything, like where they needed to be. Right. And that was the only way I got through it. And I loved every moment. It was literally because I fit the costume, and her cover did not have a costume yet, but I fit her costume. We were the same size, same height, everything. It was terrifying, but it really got my feet wet.
Well, that was such a great show. And I mean, such a great cast. I mean, Ava and so many talented people. I read too, you also were part of the Radio City Christmas Spectacular.
I love that show so much.
A Rockette?
No, oh gosh, no. I'm 5'1" on a very good day. I was in the ensemble, but I loved it so much. We were so close, and I did it in Nashville at the Opry. And that show was amazing for the ensemble because we sang, we danced, we did all of it, and we were on stage just as much as the Rockettes were. So it was just family, and we loved hanging out with the Rockettes backstage, and like it was such a family, and the show was fun and energetic, and I lost so much weight. Oh my gosh.
Was it a touring production or just a?
It was a sit down in Nashville at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, okay, they do their own. They do the version for Christmas time down there.
I mean, I think they had 2 versions the last time I did it, which was the one on in New York, and the tour were similar, and ours. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, you got. I mean, that's special. Not a lot of people could do that, and it's even more crazier that this year's the first year since 1933 that the Rockettes haven't. The Radio City Christmas Spectacular hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's it's such a tradition. And, as someone who, I think everyone who's done Radio City has always felt like they were part of the tradition, whether or not they were doing the show at the moment. It's so sad. It's so sad that it wasn't here this year, but hopefully next year will be even better and like bigger and happier because we all now know what it's like not to have it. And
I'm sure it will be bigger and happier. And I was actually speaking to a Rockette a few days ago, and she was saying just how the show itself is very familial and how close everyone gets who does the show, both, in a Rockette or in the ensemble. So,
honestly, it really is like family, and even the crew and the cast and the company management and everyone, like my dresser, I still talk to my dressers and LPs. It's just such a family. And I don't know. I miss coming out of those, revolving doors in that one year, like every day, probably.
I love that. So as we look forward to the rebirth of theater, and oh God, I hope in 2021 we see a return of live theater. I'm sure we will, but I am crossing my fingers that we do. Going forward, what is your dream role that you would like to play? Whether it's on Broadway or not.
Dream. Okay, this is going to sound, I don't know. Well, not on Broadway, but I really have missed my chance playing Eponine in Les Mis. That was like my dream role for so long. So any regional
time.
But I'm more of a Fantine now, obviously, because I have a child and I'm older, and so that's a new dream role, I guess. I would love to play Eliza in Hamilton.
Wow.
I think I would do very good justice to the song "Burn," but because I love the show, and I think the show is great. And,
it's a great show.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think he's incredible in that. If anyone in Hamilton is watching,
And I would love to swing Six the musical, because that music is like,
Yes, right?
yeah,
That music is awesome. That is
I love
awesome.
that music. I was so sad for them. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for their
Oh,
debuts.
I know. Wow, that's great. Hey, you know what? I mean, you never know with Les Mis. They've done 300 million revivals of it. They may do another one in a few years, you
I
know.
want to be in one show,
Or
Fontaine or Ebony one time.
maybe, or even in the West End, you know, maybe you'll, I think that's still running over there when they come back. So, you know, but I hope you get to play that. And I'd love to see you in Hamilton or Six or anything, really. That's
I
exciting.
really take anything. Like, I'll take anything at this moment. You know, I just love to perform. And honestly, like if the shows that I've done had never closed, I'd probably still be in all of them.
Yeah.
Especially Here Lies Love at the Public. That's
Wow.
amazing.
And that was a good one. What was that like? That experience like for you?
Oh man, I might actually cry. It was such a great, amazing experience. Not only because I got to be Filipino, because I am.
Yeah.
I got to hang out with the most talented, most humble, most loving company, because they really were so amazing. The costumes, Clint, oh my gosh, he was amazing. All the costumes were terrific, and David Byrne and Alex, everybody was so loving, and I learned so much from the workshops, because I did the workshops, and then both runs I did as a swing, and I just learned so much about myself, about, you know, the history, about everything. And yeah, it was every night was something different, because the audience got to dance with you and move with you. And when you're on for a different track, there's more intricacies backstage and stage, and you jumped on platforms. And what if a platform didn't work, which never happened really, because our wranglers were amazing. And yeah, it was just such a cool show. The music, oh my gosh, I was so proud of that show.
And the Public is so prestigious and extraordinary to do, you know, to work at, I'm sure. So that had to be even cooler to be at, you know, doing it at the Public.
Totally. And you know what? Everyone there was lovely. I'm going to tell you, everyone there was loving and supportive and kind. And it was just such a great place to work. And I would come to work, I think, probably an hour and a half early, just so I can hang out there. That's not a lie. It's true.
That's when you know that it's great, and really that the job is wonderful when you do that.
Yeah, we hung out all the time too. Like after the show, we hung out all the time. It was great.
I love that. What advice would you give to fellow performers, aspiring performers, for their careers? So maybe they're trying to break into their roles. They're maybe stuck in their careers. And on that same note, the performers who are part of the BIPOC and Asian American community as well.
You know what? I'm speaking to myself too, because obviously we're all at COVID and we're all a little stressed right now. But if you love it so much, and if it ignites your soul so much, and if you think to yourself, this is really like the only thing I want to do, and I am willing to sacrifice so much to do this, I just say keep going, keep making your mark, keep having your voice heard, no matter what happens. It's a stressful business. I mean, that's the truth. It's stressful. Like you need a therapist. That's the other thing. Get a therapist, because it's very stressful. But I think, if you really love it and you're really willing to go there, at least for a time and for right now, I would, if you can think of anything else you'd rather do that. But if there's nothing else you'd really rather do, just because I feel that in my soul, I just love it so much. And I say, keep going, keep having your voices heard. Basically, just do you and be happy and be proud, even during the bad times and the crazy times. Know you're going to get through it. Keep going. Just keep pushing, keep pushing along, because you'll get there. You'll get there. However there will be, like, you will get there, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. It 100% does. I love that. That is such great advice. Yeah. Well, Carol, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this, spending your Sunday with me. I know, you're a busy mom, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
I can hear him screaming on the trampoline outside. He's fine.
Oh, that's good. Well, thank you so much for doing this. It was a pleasure to talk with you and to get to know you. And, I look forward to the future, and hopefully we can connect one day in person.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you, Jay Brancato, for
Yes.
hooking us up here.
Yes, Ray Brancato, thank you for, yes, what a great recommendation. And if you out there, well, now that you say that, if you out there have any recommendations for interviews that you would like to like me to interview, please reach out. Go to my website, ridethenewsguy.com, and fill out the contact form or hit me up on social media. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much, Carol. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
You too. Have a great holiday.